Hi everyone, Anthony here, Aquascaping on the Fly Living Art Creations. I am Anthony, your host and content creator, and what I have today is really an update to my RO Remineralization water swap outs for all the tanks. Now, if you guys have been following me, you know I did 3 videos, part 1, 2, and 3, where I discovered that I wasn't even testing for GH and KH, and I didn't know why I wasn't, but I didn't do the research on it. That's my fault. And my water, I found out, was way too hard. And I started losing a lot of my larger shrimp or my older shrimp due to molting issues. But I didn't put the connection together until I flew with a flight attendant that kept shrimp, and she kind of gave me a crash course. So I came back from a trip, did the research, bought an inexpensive RO system. It was less than $100. I think it was like $98. I'm very happy with the system. But when the system arrived, on page 1 of the system, it said, what does your township use to clean their water or disinfect their water? Is it chlorine or chloramine? You need to look that up first. I looked it up. I assumed it was chlorine. It's not. Where I am, it's chloramine, which is the harder one, which is much more difficult to get rid of in your water supply, which requires a separate filter, a much bigger filter. So I ordered an additional piece to the RO system that I had, and then I had to wait for that to come in. So it's been a process. The first RO system that I changed out, in my head this sounded completely logical. I will not remineralize the first one because my minerals are too high. Let's just put straight RO water in. Hopefully it'll balance. Oh God, no. That was the worst thing I could do. I mean, literally, that was the worst thing I could do. So I do what everybody else does. I went on to AI and started posting. This is really good about AI. You don't have to subscribe if you put everything in one question. Which is what I do. I have massive paragraphs, has all my details in it, and then I post the question. And so what's really great about it, the more information you give it, the way better your results are going to be. So I put all my testing data from several weeks together, and then my first RO where I did not remineralize in there, and then what it was currently, and it was fantastic. So I had a game plan. Okay, can't talk today. Weekly water changes and you remineralize. Your top offs are with RO straight water until the tanks balance out, which can take, brace yourselves, 2 months. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So I was hoping for instant gratification. No, that didn't happen. So I've just now undergone, and I have to keep very detailed records on this, on my RO changes. And so it's like this. Now I have made a nice little clean version for you guys that I did a screenshot of. And so it's going to be in this so you can see what I'm talking about. But basically, one of the things I do want to talk about is when I went with the RO system, then of course, because I'm using salty shrimp, GH and KH additive, and it requires a little ounce, gram, whatever scale. Everything I bought was super, super inexpensive. Nothing was more than $10. A TDS reader, which I really find valuable now because it gives you like an instant snapshot of where your hardiness level should be. And so when I got everything together, I also bought the paper test strips for testing the waters because I got really, really tired. I was using the larger API test kit. It was just taking me forever. My nitrate, nitrite, chlorine, and pH don't change that much, basically at all. So I went to using the GH and KH drop because the test strips, and I want to stress this, the color difference is so slight between one and the next, but the numeric value attached to them is worlds apart. So like The second or third color, which still is in their zone of okay, could be outside your parameters that you want. But the one color next to it, oh, then you're fine. But you can't always tell the difference in the color when you do the test strip. So what I don't use it for is GH and KH. I do use it for the pH because it's very effective for the pH, and the pH you can read immediately. And so like right now, across the board today, of all the tanks, 5 tanks, the pH was 6.4. My GH went from my lowest, which is 5, to one tank, Tree here, which is an 8. Most of them were 6. Yeah, 6 is almost, the majority of them are 6, which is right where you want it to be. In there is for GH, I think it was 6 to 8. And KH is 2 to 4. And mine are coming in at 3 and 4. And then chlorine, nitrate, nitrite, zeros. And then total alkalinity, I was coming in at some tanks. I posted it at 80. It really could be 40. It's just the color variation, again, is very confusing. So I am posting on mine the higher side of that. And I will tell you when I'm doing the reagent, like on the GH, because it's supposed to turn green, when it goes from that amber color and it's first going into green, that's my number I log in. I don't let it get dark green. I'm just like, okay, you can see it's green now. And so that's the number I log in. So that's just the system that I'm being very consistent about. But it's made it a lot easier. I will say that having to do, like you need to do multiple testings, during the week. The sticking with the drops on the GH and the KH, because that's critical. You need to know where that is. The TDS just helps you. It's instant. The strips for the other stuff is instant. So it takes a lot less time and it's a lot easier to do it. So right now, what I can tell you is happening, my RO system is really slow though. So it takes me hours to produce any RO water. Now for me, that's okay. My tanks are small, but if I had anything larger, like I would like to move to a bigger place and have a actual room for the tanks, I would get a much more advanced system that can produce a lot of water faster. Because here it trickles out so low that it does take hours for me just to do like 2 tanks. And so and this is the first time, because I did it like late last night, it's the first time I haven't flooded something. Every time I've done a water change, I always flood something, whether it's the hose coming out of one of these tanks or over there at the bar. I'll be watching television or in a movie or something, and I'll just notice, oh, there's water all over the floor now, so I got to get up and clean that up. This is the first time I didn't do that. I'm so happy. But when I'm doing the remineralization, I'm going a little bit under as far as the go line for the salty shrimp that you put in there, because within 24 hours, as you can see, I'm at the max, what it should be. So I'm going safe. I'm putting in a little bit less so it doesn't go much higher, because my overall goal right now is my shrimp's health, especially with my blue velvet babies. I don't want anything to happen to them. And then I have a female up here that I hope is going to have babies. This is the orange really. Now, the ones I don't worry about, the ghost shrimp, because they're aggressive. I'm not ever going to get ghost shrimp again because they're just too aggressive towards each other. They don't bother the amanos, because the amanos in this tank, I've got 4 amanos. They're the top dog. They run that roost in there. That's the hierarchy. The ghost shrimp, though, they literally will attack each other like crazy. And I've got ghost shrimp in here and in Eden. So those are all eventually going to have to come out, because I do want to put a friendlier shrimp in there that has more color. Because right now you can't see any color here or here. This one has the snowball. I only have one left though. This one's got the ghost shrimp. You can't hardly even see them inside there. So I want to go with something a little bit more animated. And what my goal is to get my water where it needs to be, where I'm not doing these frequent water changes. And then I can introduce more livestock, because I want fish in all my tanks, very specific ones, and to go along with the shrimp that are already in there. But I don't want to introduce fish until the shrimp are taken care of. And I know that some people would say that's backwards because shrimp are way more sensitive. I'm doing it because the shrimp are more sensitive. I know if I can keep the shrimp alive, I'll have a better chance at keeping the fish alive, because fish are can be a lot hardier than the shrimp because they're so susceptible. But that's kind of my takeaway. So this third time through, and I'm waiting a week before I do the next water change. So 24 hours, I'm right there where I need to be. But it creeps up during that time span. And so all the research I've done online has said that eventually your tanks will level out, but it will take 2 to even more months than that. I think it was like 2 to 4 months that it could take for it to even out. And it also depends on what is in your tank itself, as far as the rock and the hardscape. And that is definitely true, because I'm using the same water across the board, but I'll get different readings between this tank and these tanks. These all have the same hardscape from the same area, it's the same wood. This one's a shrub that's blonde, which is completely different. And it has different rocks in it than are the rocks that are up here. So even little things like that make a big difference in your water analysis that you're trying to get under control. And it's just a way to keep you to please use caution and not, I know so many of you guys, when we talk about this online, that you just want to go ahead and put everything in there and just watch it. Okay, you just can't do that, because you may end up killing something and wasting a lot more money. And it's the same thing with the plants that I'm putting in. I don't put everything in there at once that I want to have in there. I want to see what is growing and what's doing well. And for me, the one plant I seem to can't not grow is Java fern, but I can grow Boos like crazy. So Boos is my favorite thing, and I can grow Anubias. So you just have to kind of learn these little things. It's good to learn on a smaller tank, because a lot of people say a smaller tank is harder because the water, quantity of water is so much lower. Now, my bowls that I have over here, that's not the case. The water parameters in these are flawless. Some of these are just a week old, and the brandy glass in the back, textbook. The pink lady, textbook. This one here, I'm calling it the 3 gallon, it's really a 2.5 gallon. Same thing. Now, it has wood that I'm monitoring, because before, when it was in another build, the plants died. So I'm monitoring this one. I would like to put some shrimp in there because their water is spot on right now, but I'm going to wait. I'm going to give it a month and see how they're doing. But yeah, that's kind of I hope this helps with understanding how we evolve. Because I first thought that it's just your tap water is fine as long as you're checking your pH and the generic stuff you're testing. I had no idea beyond that what I should have been doing. And then once I found out that my water was too hard, then I kind of panicked that I was going to lose more shrimp. And then after I found out it was too hard, not only was it that, they were using a chemical in the water that's incredibly difficult to remove for the water. So then there was a chemical component to that. I was like, oh my gosh, I really keep messing up. And that's why I can see where some people purchase their water, then they don't have to worry about it. But by not freaking out, staying calm, doing research, everything is at a status quo. I haven't lost any more shrimp. Now, the one snow battle that I lost, I was not surprised that one, they've just gradually died off one at a time until I just have one left in there. The other tanks aren't like that. The blue in this tank, the blackfish, those babies are doing amazing. And their personalities are completely different than any of the other tanks, because they basically grew, that is their home. That's where they were introduced from birth, was into that tank. So they feel very comfortable in there. I have 2 juveniles in there that never come out. They stay hidden in the caves, because that tank setup is nothing but caves underneath it. The hardscape is not even attached to any of the rocks. It's like hovering right above it. So they have full access to an underwater world in there where they can go in and do whatever they want. It's the only tank like that. But my tanks going forward, I want to create always space for the fish and the shrimp that are in there. So, long story short, hope this helps. And if you haven't, this is just a plea that my goal is for this channel to go viral like crazy, but it is only 8 months old, and I'm not even getting sent out by the algorithm to anyone in the aquascaping or terrarium world. You guys are finding me by accident, and I'm so thankful for my subscribers and the feedback that I receive. The love and feedback I receive is amazing, and I cannot thank you enough for that from the bottom of my heart. That's truly exactly how I feel about this. So if you would consider, there's 97% of you out here are watching my videos that are not subscribing. So please consider subscribing and liking a video and commenting. That trifecta, that's what rules the algorithm. So keep that in mind. But until then, you guys have a great day, and I'll see you on the next video update.